Quick warning, this video will have major spoilers. It's unavoidable in a game this short, and it's also unavoidable because of what I want to say about it, so please keep this in mind. If you haven't already played it, and you don't want spoilers, I suggest you do so before watching this. I was struggling to find a game that called to me for this video. I tried playing one that I won't name, that I ended up dropping in less than an hour because of a single mechanic that ruined the entire game for me. And damn, I was really excited for it initially. But eventually, I knew I had to just bite the bullet and play something else, even if it didn't call to me. This video's game took almost as long as my failed playthrough of that other game, but I loved every single second of it. It was beautiful in many ways, and I cannot wait to get into it with you. Hey, I'm Jen, and welcome to In One Sitting, the series that explores indie games that can be completed in 5 hours or less. This time around, I want to talk about Florence and exactly why I loved it so much. It's about a woman who feels stuck in her life, who meets someone who changes her. A simple concept, but it's done so well. I have a lot to say, but I will try to not make this video too long, and I won't be making as many jokes because this game just hit different for me. I want to focus on its beauty instead of my dumb jokes. And besides, I only have 40 minutes of game footage. I want to start by mentioning the obvious part of this game that really hooks you and is 80% of why the tone of Florence works at all: the music. It's honestly pretty insane. Many games have good soundtracks made by highly talented composers, yeah, of course. But for some reason, this one hits differently. The soundtrack was composed by, and excuse me if I pronounce this wrong, Kevin Pinkin, who has a decently long list of video game and anime credits. I haven't felt like this about a soundtrack since, God, I don't even know when. The music is truly candy for the ears, and I'm not exaggerating. I'm using the soundtrack as background music for this entire video. I think part of why this soundtrack works for me is that the tracks use cello and piano as the focus. Florence is represented in the piano track, and Krish, her love interest, is represented with cello. It's this beautiful duet and mesh of instruments. In case you didn't know, I'm a huge sucker for both of these, especially cello. They're my two favorite instruments, truly. Of all the instruments I've learned in my life, cello was not one of them, and I'm pretty sad about that. Most importantly though, the composer did a fantastic job at musically representing each stage of the game. It was masterfully done. The sad moments have music that reflect that mood, and the lighter moments are done in the same manner. To accompany the music is, of course, the art style. It's beautiful and hand-drawn. The color palette is fairly simple, and becomes more colorful in the scenes in which color fits the message best. Similarly to the music, the color matches the vibe of the scenes they accompany. Together, the art and music form a wonderful harmony that, without even one of them, the game would not be nearly as impactful with its messages. But we will talk about the themes and messages a bit later. Florence is a minigame, so obviously the experience is meant to be short. And one might assume that pacing hardly has a role in a game this short, but I can assure you that it absolutely does. I actually think good pacing matters even more in a short game. No single section of this game feels too long or too short. Everything is timed so well. Part of what paces the game so well is the mechanics. Certain things are mundane. Moving the joystick left and right to brush your teeth, for example, or just pressing A to get from one screen to the next. This effectively reflects the action that it's for. Simple tasks without much thought behind them. Routine that is more monotonous than fun. One particular mechanic I want to mention are the parts of the game with speech bubbles. It's simple. You grab pieces of a puzzle in the shape of a speech bubble until they fill up and make a full line of dialogue. Of course, we don't see the actual dialogue, but we don't need to. This mechanic is interesting to me because of what the changes of the pieces' shapes imply. It starts slowly and is composed of many pieces that are rounded when she first meets Krish. It indicates that Florence is a bit tentative, unsure. Maybe it takes more effort to say exactly what she intends and she doesn't want to say the wrong thing. But over time, the speech bubbles become easier to do with fewer pieces as she gets to know him. Even more interestingly, when the two argue, the pieces become squared and even progress to a sharp point, not rounded and smooth like normal puzzle pieces. At some points, Krish even has his own speech bubble that ends up filling by itself, and you find yourself almost competing with him to see who can fill the bubble up faster. It reflects those arguments with your partner that are contentious, emotional, or difficult. It's a simple mechanic and concept, but highly effective in communicating the idea of unpleasant arguments. This is the section of the video that I think matters the most, because the game's message is kind of the entire point, and it's a poignant one. It essentially tells the story of a woman who is feeling stuck. Her life is boring and routine. Then she falls in love, presumably her first love, and then, spoiler alert, they break up. But she comes out of the relationship stronger in the long run, even with fond memories. And God, this really hit me. Many of us have been through relationships that have ended, either amicably or not. And regardless of the reason, most of the time the loss is difficult, even if it's what's best for both people in the relationship. You can recognize that a relationship is no longer working, while also recognizing that you are a better person for having had that person in your life at all. Once you get through the grieving process, you come out stronger, and that's the entire point. Yes, it hurts. Yes, it's difficult, but it's still worth loving others. Because what is grief if not an expression of the fact that we were lucky enough to have loved someone profoundly? Love is powerful. It's an emotion that keeps the world turning. Much of what we do in our lives is motivated by it. It makes people move across the world, change careers, restructure their lives. So of course when that's lost, it's going to hurt like hell. But that hurt doesn't mean it wasn't worth it. In fact, love is part of what makes life worth living. I don't believe the game suggests that the relationship between Florence and Krish was toxic. Rather, I think it communicates that sometimes, even loving relationships aren't meant to be, and that's okay. Doesn't mean that either one of you failed or are bad people. Rather, there's hope, even after love reaches its end. You might be wondering, is this game right for me? Would I enjoy it? Who is the game meant for? Well, I honestly think it works for a lot of people, especially for those who enjoy chill indie games. It will not be effective for those who require a challenge, strategy elements, or any sense of difficulty or adrenaline. This game does not have any of that. It's not trying to give you a rush or offer any thrills. It's a calm experience meant to be consumed in one sitting for those who enjoy quick stories. If you enjoy games with simple mechanics, you might enjoy this one. In addition, if you've ever experienced heartbreak and enjoy stories with romance, this game will probably hit home for you. On the flip side, if you don't enjoy romance and slice-of-life stories, then skip it. It's a short and bittersweet experience. So if you have a spare 30 to 45 minutes and want to experience a quick story that has a lot to say in its short runtime, then I'd pick this one up. In these videos, I like to rate the games I play on an emotional damage scale. The score represents how emotional the game made me, how long it stuck with me, how much it made me think about my own life. I'll be honest, I actually cried during this game, so I'd say that it had a good impact on me. I don't want to go too deeply into my own life, but I will say that the game was relatable. As someone who loves romance and being in a relationship, this story hit me pretty hard. I've been with my husband for nearly 12 years now, but that doesn't mean I didn't go through a lot of heartbreak to get here. And it certainly doesn't mean we don't have our own struggles. Every relationship does. Florence earns an 8 out of 10 on the emotional damage scale.
Emotional damage!
It didn't hit me as hard as Red Dead Redemption 2 did, but I'm not sure if anything will ever reach that level, honestly. But still, Florence was substantial for me. Romance is interesting, because people are messy, and relationships are difficult. What starts off in the honeymoon phase and pure bliss will sometimes turn into something not so pretty, and I think a lot of people can relate to that. I know I certainly can. This game did a fantastic job at reflecting this reality in a virtual environment. But hey, at least the game kissed the brick before it threw it at my head. I'm an optimist who can find something positive about every game I play, even if I didn't enjoy it. I can also sometimes have a hard time finding flaws if I really enjoyed something, but generally I can at least think of something. But this game is just genuinely incredibly lovely. I really try to think of something that bothered me or that I thought was negative, just to be more well-rounded and fully honest, but I legitimately couldn't think of a single thing that I thought was weak. Florence is truly a game worth playing, and it only asks for 45 minutes of your time. I will be thinking about this game for a while, and I definitely highly recommend it. If you've played this game, or decide to play it after seeing this video, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. I want to know if you got as much out of it as I did. That's all for now. See you next time. And as always, thanks for sitting with me.